Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video I'm going to show you the team I'm going to use for this raid boss event. I've already done a guide earlier today for the Legends Reborn event, so take a look at that. That's a cool little guide for how to get the most out of Legends Reborn. But on to the raid boss. Now the first thing you're going to need to do with this to get the most out of it is to go to the shop and buy tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 is 30 gems, tier 2 is 70 gems. You're going to want tier 1 because you're going to need a potion of enchantment. This means all your troops start enchanted at the start of each and every battle for the entirety of this event. You also gain other boss sigils, raid boss sigils, more troops and gold and souls and other stuff like that. Now the reason why you want tier 2 is because you get a troop called Adakite. He had a kite, but he let it go in a strong gust of wind and he never found it again. Hopefully he'll be able to buy a new one. But you need this guy because he is the Godslayer. Godslayers do extra damage versus bosses. Don't worry too much if you can't get that third trait. It is not particularly essential. This troop is going to be placed pretty much at the bottom of our team. What is important is that he does damage to an enemy, and if they're a boss, deals 3 to 5 times damage based on his ascensions, and he explodes 3 gems. That is a nice little bit of mana gen at the same time. So you need him. If you don't have 100 gems right now, but you did participate in the Treasure Vault event, the Gnome event we've just had the last few days, then you should have a bunch of vault keys to open. So open some of those vault keys if you don't have enough gems right now. Gems are a really common reward in those vault keys, and you will have enough gems in no time at all. Tier 3 is a weapon called Watchful Blade. This is in the soulforge at the moment. I did a soulforge video as well today. Manic Monday, I call it, on Mondays, because Monday is often very busy. But if you want it, it is better to get it this way in this event. It only costs you 150 gems, and you get the other rewards at the same time. Legendary ingots, trait stones, and more. It's an okay weapon. It is technically the event weapon today, but there are just other weapons available which are better. But it's collectible. You may find a use for it now and again. It does deal damage to an enemy boosted by Helicrag allies, and then creates a mix of red and brown for each Helicrag ally. It won't charge itself because the hero uses purple and green for this, but if you have other allies in your team which do use red and brown, which they should do if you're going to use this weapon, otherwise there's not a lot of point to actually using it in this event, then it will do you pretty good. Now let's take a look at the actual team. Right, now onto the team, and I'll show a couple of variations in case you do not have the troops we have here. Right, I'm starting with Black Manacles, Chalcedony, and Adakite. We need Adakite because eventually we're going to be facing Zul'Goth, and you need this in a team to do the maximum damage you can to Zul'Goth, take him out. So if you can ascend it, if you can get enough troops to ascend it, then do so, because it is definitely going to be beneficial in this event. Chalcedony is here because we're going to have a all construct team. This is going to make this event so easy. It is going to be basically ridiculous. Chalcedony deals damage to an enemy, then creates 3 brown gems boosted by construct allies. So we make sure we have all construct allies in the team, because Adakite is indeed a construct, and we'll be in a Geomancer class, which gives us our 4th construct. The way this will work is we'll basically cast Chalcedony, get an extra turn, deal damage to the enemy. You can, if you like, just keep on doing that and just wipe out the enemy really, really quickly. It's going to be kind of silly, but the first thing that will happen is we get Black Manacles charged up by doing that and deal damage to all the enemies, which is going to wipe them out at the early stages completely. Now, if you do not have Black Manacles, a good other way to go about things is to put in damage to all in your search bar. This will bring up all your weapons that do damage to all. This is the best way to start, because the early stages, the enemy is going to be really easy. Even like Death's Grasp, a purple weapon, deals damage to all enemies in a nice, good way. And even Wicked Scythe does good damage, so not too bad. Just pick your best damage to all weapon. It's not that relevant if it mana blocks Chalcedony, but it should be okay, because we're going to create so much mana with this anyway that it's going to be crazy. Now, if you don't have 2 Chalcedonies, let's clear that filter. then you can chuck in a Craghound instead. And if you don't have any Chalcedonies at all, you can chuck in 2 Craghounds if you have them. These deal a damage to 2 random enemies, then create 3 Gargoyle Gems. The Gargoyle Gems can only be collected if you explode them or destroy them in some way. So Adakite can actually do that himself when he casts his spell, because he explodes 3 gems whenever he casts his spell. So pretty straightforward. The banners for this are going to be +2 brown, +1 purple, -1 green. So let's dive in. I'll do the early stages first, then I'll pause the video, come back and jump ahead a little bit and show how the team performs a little bit later on in the event. So initially we've got that nice mana start on that 50%. Should have showed that actually. Let me show that now as soon as we get our turn back. Champion talents, Serendipity, well read, doesn't actually matter. Anti-magic sphere is one of the good ones. Rock solid, absolutely superb because we create so much brown in this. We have a barrier almost all the time. Stone mastery is nice for this, and fortitude. So manacles, or whatever your damage to all weapon is going to be wiping out the wiping out the enemy really early and easily. Straight away. Shimmer Scales egg is in danger. It's fallen off of a tree and it needs to be caught before it smashes to the ground. So again, just collect brown at the early stages, cast the weapon. These first few stages are very quick and easy. Just whiz through them quickly. There we go. Didn't even have to do anything. Just was instantly charged up. King Moloch. There's no brown. We can collect yellow. And when we do that, we can just kill someone outright, create a load of brown, finish off with the weapon. Super straightforward. Let's get to the part where Zul'Goth appears. Grimcorn. Like a mouldy corn of the cob that you just left outside too long. Or you barbecued it too much and it went all black and bitty and horrible. Ugh, I can't eat that. That's a Grimcorn. Fair enough. Purple instead. Didn't have to because we were enchanted, so it would have been ready the next turn anyway. And the cool thing about Black Manacles is you're going to get a random Devour now and again, which is going to make you even more powerful. Grab brown. Everybody's dead day. Bone binder. Grab purple if there's no brown. This is going to be really straightforward. So when we get to the stage where we start casting a Chalcedony, you can do that in 2 different ways. You can either just continuously cast Chalcedony, because she will repeat again and again and again. Probably 95% of the time you're going to get an extra turn and a ton of brown from that. Or you can use the brown to charge up Black Manacles and do damage to all. You do hand the turn back, of course, unless you get a 4-match out of that, which you're not going to do, because if you cast that, there's no way of getting an extra turn. So if you cast that, you'll do a damage to all again. Should we get that? Might as well. Zorhead survived. Not for long. Don't need this extra damage right now, but it is charged up and ready to go. Right, so I'll just do one more round of this, and then I'm going to pause the video, jump forward a bit, and come back. Do we have purple? Indeed we do. to actually use one of the Chalcedonis to finish off now if you like, because they do damage as well. So everybody does damage in this team, which is really useful. Right, I'm going to pause the video, jump forward a few stages and come back in a minute. I've done several more levels now. We're on a level 135 Zul'Goth. A lot more power and a lot more attack in these enemies. So let's see how this team stacks up now. And it's still been doing really well, but there's one thing you have to bear in mind. When Zul'Goth gets more powerful, as he gets more life and health, in this case he's gone to just above 300 now, which is pretty meaty. If your Godslayer is not going to take him out in one go, for example, mine does 5 times 61, so that's 305. So that may not take him out in one go. You may have to cast Black Manacles first, and that's where it's really handy. You can use Black Manacles to soften up opponents, or Zul'Goth in this case, and then take him out with your Godslayer. And then you can just go on the old loop-to-loop with a Chalcedony if you want to hit everybody once first, like that. Soften them up, get them in range of your Black Manacles, and finish them off. And if there's a lingerer who insists on not being quite dead yet, you can get your old Chalcedony back on him and finish off. So yeah, this is still working really well. Black Manacles really good at softening up Zul'Goth, ready for your Godslayer to finish him off. Like, you can't cast it now because it's not going to quite finish him off. So we cast Black Manacles first. He's been softened up. See you later, mate. Kaboosh. Now we can just go on a rampage with a Chalcedony. Hit the opposite opponents first, not the same one. Then you've got Black Manacles to finish off the enemy. So it's basically using Chalcedony to hit each opponent in turn that's remaining to get them in range of your Black Manacles, depending upon how much damage you do, because it is based on your level and magic in the game. And that is going to be it. It's working really, really well. There's absolutely no need particularly to change this, I don't think. Yes. If you're a newer player and your stats aren't as high as mine, you will want to take things like skull hits to make sure you don't get any unnecessary damage. You can even start a Chalcedony roll now if you want. We can just literally go around hitting all these opponents a couple of times each. Get them within range of Black Manacles. Cast Black Manacles now, and kaboosh. 3 of them gone. We've softened up Zul'Goth. He was getting excited, thinking he was about to do some damage. Not on my watch, Sunshine. Get out of here, you mouldy courgette. So I'll just show that one more time, and that will probably do, because this is pretty much it. It's going to be a really straightforward raid boss with Chalcedony in the team. Absolutely fantastic troop. Unbelievably good at just looping the loop. So you can cast, when they're early doors in the game, they've got nowhere near being ready to cast yet. You can cast Black Manacles first, get the first cheeky lot of damage in there. Cast Chalcedony. You can then obviously cast Black Manacles again if you so desire. That's got the middle 2 troops in range. You have actually had a respawn already at the top there. That was a bit cheeky of them. Let's give them a little skull dig, why not? Yeah, get out of it. Yeah, so working really, really well. Black Manacles are really handy for this. You're always going to get that random chance of a Devour at the same time, which if you get that, then it's going to make your attack really high, which means any incidental skull hits at the same time are going to be super effective. Wow, that was a rare failure from a Chalcedony. Soften everybody up. And plonk it on them ones next. And the next one's down. Them top 3 are now going to all die from Black Manacles. And Zul, just when he was getting excited again, gets taken out of it. But there it is. That's all I'm going to be doing. It's going to be really straightforward. Don't forget to grab your rewards at the end. Lots of nice things. gems, event keys, diamonds, major orb of growth, and an orb of chaos, and probably another orb of wisdom to add to my pile. Let's take a look. Orb of growth. Ooh. Exciting. Not. Anyway, there's the video. There's the team. It works really, really well. Thanks for watching. If you found the video useful or helpful, it'd be cool if you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.